It's going to be right there in the Fonseca Gulf, and it's going to include everything: residential areas, commercial areas, services, entertainment, bars, restaurants, airport, port, rail, everything devoted to Bitcoin. Because this is a fully ecological city that works, and it's energized by a volcano. You remember in June 6th, I sent a video to Bitcoin conference in Miami, and we announced that El Salvador was making Bitcoin legal tender. Then in June 9th, the diputados over here, they approved the Bitcoin law in the assembly, and we listened to it. A lot of us, 22,000 of us, we listened to it on Bitcoin Spaces, and we listened to the vote live. And we're getting a lot of donations. We're building 20 Bitcoin schools, which will be full of, technology and everything, but also the economical education of the future. So we were thinking of building Bitcoin City. Yeah, it was not just an idea, but it would actually be a legal municipality. Wow. With mayor and everything. Probably run for mayor of Bitcoin City in the future. So at the beginning, we will power the city with the old volcano and the old power plant. But then we will build a new one right next to the city. And the volcano will power the whole city and will also power the mining. So the city is going to be totally circle except for the place of the volcano. And in the middle, you would have a huge plaza, which would be from the air, you will look at it as a Bitcoin sign. Everything clean and coming from the volcano. We want you to hire people, not to pay taxes for hiring people. 0 municipal taxes and 0 CO2 emissions. Now you say, okay, so who's going to pick up the trash? I'm going to go into that. Because this is a fully ecological city, and it's energized by a volcano. So the only tax that you're going to have in Bitcoin City is the value-added tax, which, normal value-added tax, 10%, which you will pay for, if you buy a Coke, you pay 10%. And that value-added tax will be used, half of it, to pay the bonds that we're going to issue to build up the city, so it's going to pay for itself. And the other half will be transferred to municipalities, so they clean up the trash, they keep the parks nice, and they keep the city all neat and clean.
We're going to be issuing Bitcoin bonds, and these bonds are amazing. The first one is going to be a $1 billion bond. And what makes it a Bitcoin bond is because it's backed by Bitcoin. So half of the $1 billion will go into buying Bitcoin.
We're going to buy $500 million in Bitcoin.
The other half will go towards infrastructure, specifically building energy infrastructure and Bitcoin mining. So this is why it's going to be called the Volcano Bond. And this is going to be a series. So this first bond is called the EBB1. But at the end of the 10 years, or in the 10th year of the bond, your APY will be 146%. So the coupon is 6.5% for the first 5 years, and then it starts getting a Bitcoin boost. And I think this product is going to be incredibly attractive, not only to Bitcoin hodlers, investors, people that have stable coins, but just normal people as well. They will sell Bitcoin in 2 quarters and recoup that $500 million. In 3.5 quarters, they can get enough money to pay back the entire bond. The first countries that do this will have a massive advantage. This is the beginning of nation-state Bitcoin FOMO. Do you guys like that?
El Salvador has become the country to watch in the evolution of Bitcoin, first making it legal tender, now taking extraordinary steps to address mining's energy usage problem. CNBC.com tech reporter Mackenzie Sigalos is here with more on what we know about their latest efforts, Mackenzie, involving volcanoes.
So for the first time, Kelly, El Salvador is officially using power harnessed from a volcano to mine for Bitcoin. President Bukele said a couple hours ago that the country has so far earned $269 worth of Bitcoin. Earlier this week, the president posted a video showing these sweeping landscape aerials of an energy factory in the thick of a forest bordering a volcano. We saw a shipping container full of Bitcoin mining rigs, as well as technicians installing and plugging in ASIC miners. We also know the government is working hand in hand with state-owned geothermal electric company Lajeo, which is already running these power plants across the country. So they're not starting from zero when it comes to infrastructure.
What is the main benefit to this new law? How will it, in theory, help the economy and the people of the country?
It was a fascinating time because President Bukele joined us on Twitter live as this law was being voted in. The objective seems to be using Bitcoin as a actual medium of payment, medium of exchange, much more frictionless in the country, eliminating all capital gains taxes, which is, of course, a big impediment to actually using this thing as a currency. Bitcoin-based remittances cheaper and less frictional, for instance. So that seems to be sort of the main thrust of the law.
A little bit more about how the rollout's gone. And Mike, I mean, this is big. It's hard for people maybe who are here in the U.S. to understand what really is going on here. But you have a country that had a lot of people who were unbanked. All of a sudden now more of them using the Chivo wallet. So it's a pretty big undertaking here. But talking about what you've seen as you've helped in rolling it all out.
Rolling out a single app to all of your citizens, 6 million people, is nothing less than a huge endeavor. They're about 50% penetrated today. About 3 million have signed up. They've got more inflows of additional Bitcoin from their users than outflows. So things have been growing pretty well.
What is behind this 6-week or whatever resurgence in so many of the cryptos?
Of Bitcoin over the weekend, almost just over $20 million. But that's a drop in the ocean in a market that trades billions of dollars. The main significance of the El Salvador development is that we are seeing a government offer its citizens choice. And that's what crypto is all about, Brian. It's about choice. For the first time in our history, crypto can offer people a choice in the monetary instrument that they use. We do have Bitcoin above 50,000 and Ethereum briefly peaked above 4,000. Both of them are important psychological levels. We're seeing some weakness today, but the momentum and the data hint that the previous highs could easily be breached in this cycle.
Bitcoin hitting its highest levels since May, ahead of El Salvador's official adoption of Bitcoin as legal currency. That starts today. The move makes it the first country in the world to officially put Bitcoin on its balance sheet and hold it in reserves. Mackenzie, great to have you on. I know you've been doing a lot of reporting around this. But the fact that we did see Bitcoin jump ahead of this and now it's under a little bit of pressure today, I mean, this has in many ways been kind of the bull case longer term around Bitcoin, the fact that you could actually use it to transact for everyday items, right?
Right. And I think that that's one of the major things that people are looking for today on the ground in El Salvador. You know, citizens can now, from today, technically use Bitcoin to buy virtually anything. So we're talking a cup of coffee, a haircut. They can also pay their taxes in Bitcoin. And that's why you did see this price run up in the last few weeks. Like Bitcoin's price was touching highs that it hadn't seen since May. And then yesterday, the government announced that it was adding almost $21 million worth of Bitcoin to its balance sheet. And that's where you saw this huge bump up in the price. And yes, it has come off of those highs, but I think people are watching to see how rollout goes. You know, from midnight, I was on the phone with people who were on the ground in San Salvador, and they were actively downloading the wallet that the government has offered to all citizens.